want to open a conversation and see how that conversation actually goes. The question we ask ourselves, particularly as we get a bit older, is, what's next for me? I decided to jump both feet into this and apply this. Screw it, let's do it. Hello everyone, it's Joe here. Just sitting at the desk here having a coffee on a bank holiday Monday morning in Ireland, filling out the to-do list or populating the calendar, which is what I do, and looking at the stuff that we've done in the last couple of weeks and looking at what we're doing over the next week or two and seeing where that all fits in and etc. Just getting organized or trying to get organized. But something has struck me, and I suppose it's something I've wanted to do for a long time. I've made a few YouTube videos up till now on various subjects, some of them about change, some of them about work, some of them about various things, and some of them instructional, some supportive in that way. But I want to have this video and a series of videos after this that will develop a community around a conversation. The conversation is hopefully going to be an honest conversation, a frank conversation, practically about work, about change, about moving on with your life, with your career, at the different stages and different chapters that we experience in our life. And the purpose of this, I suppose, impromptu, sitting at a desk having a cup of coffee conversation, it's completely unscripted chat about these things. And it's important that I get the point across that, not everything I've done has been the right thing. Not everything I've done has been successful. And I'm not putting myself out here as the guy who has all of the answers. I'm putting myself out here as the guy who wants to promote a conversation. I have done a lot of successful things in my career. I have enjoyed a lot of my work. I've had stress and all of the things that go with a 40-year career. But I've pivoted in the last few years, some of it down to circumstances, some of it down to desire, some of it down to purely and simply where you find yourself where you are and you do what you do. I've never been the sort of guy who sits back and thinks, well, the world owes me a favor and poor me, this is not who I am. I'm the sort of guy who always looks for the next step, looks for the next one. So I've tried to, I suppose, subconsciously reinvent myself over the years and come to do a lot of things. And the older you get, the less risky sometimes you want to be and the less challenging things. And sorry, you want to get involved with stuff that are less challenging and stuff that are more certain, more definite. But we do live in a different age now. We live in an age where things are moving so much faster, where jobs are disappearing, career types are disappearing overnight. And that's literally the world we live in. So the question we ask ourselves, particularly as we get a bit older, is, what's next for me? What, if my career runs out, or if I have a substantive change for whatever reason in my life, what do I do next? And, why do I go in one direction or another, or how do I do that when you don't have the full picture? And, I read a book a little while ago by Richard Branson, and it was "Screw it, let's do it" was the phrase on the book, was the name of the book. And it was his sort of catchphrase. And whenever he came across something where he wasn't sure about it completely, but knew that the upside would be wow if he actually did it, he would just say, "Screw it, let's do it," and jump in with both legs. And the other thing I noted, and I thought I found very good, is that the more I watch and learn and listen and about what's going on in the world and the world of business, not just the world of your normal life, but the world of business, I discovered that the faster you fail, the more successful you become. And I thought that was the funniest thing I'd ever heard until it was, I wouldn't say explained to me, but I learned what it meant. And most people don't think about it, don't consciously think about it anyway, but I learned what it meant. If you go through life always making sure that you've got all of this ducks in the right, stacked up right, and that everything is working correctly for you, then, procrastination kicks in, the enthusiasm wanes, and you probably won't ever do that thing that probably would have made a lot of difference to you. So for me, screw it, let's do it. Fail as fast as you can, so that didn't work, get on to something else. Don't worry about putting all the ducks in a row and doing all your cost value analysis and all your balance sheets to make sure that your probabilities are on your side before you start doing something. And I've been in both camps for many years, and it's taken me many years of working with other people, working on major projects, working on structured projects with big teams of people that work for me, running companies on behalf of other people, before I got to a place in time where I'm running my own business now. In fact, the truth is, I'm now signed up to run three businesses, which sounds almost crazy in this day and age. But hopefully, with the help of the support that you get from the tools that are available today, and I include AI in that, you can do a lot more with a lot less. And using the experience and the skill that you can turn things over. So I suppose the thought that I wanted to get the conversation moving on was I want to talk about change. Starting, making good decisions without the full map. And I think at the end of the day, we find ourselves continually in that situation. Recently in Ireland, there was a change in the planning laws. That planning law now allows people to put a home in their back garden that's anything from 32 square meters to 45 square meters in size without planning permission. Now, that doesn't mean it doesn't have to be built properly. There are building regulations, there are very onerous requirements in terms of environmental requirements, building regulations, building it right, making it a home. It can't be a shed in your back garden that has 100 millimeter of insulation and some 2 kilowatt heaters in it and you can live in there. You can't. It has to be fully building regulation compliant, and it has to work with the building regulations. Your commencement notice of 2 weeks in advance has to be put into the planning authority before you start, and you have to have a design that's comprehensive that can be signed off with the building regulations when it's completed. In fact, you have to have that design before you start, otherwise how are you going to build it? So there's a new business that I've gotten into. Now, I'm not here to talk about that business. I'm here to talk about change and getting on with stuff. I decided to jump both feet into this and apply this, screw it, let's do it, because this is a one-time opportunity and I can see it. Now, taking all of my experience in building homes, quality homes, large homes, small homes, multiple homes, homes of multiple occupation over 40 odd years in my career. Now I've built other stuff too, but I've built a lot of homes, and I've partnered with a home builder here in Ireland, somebody who for the last number of years has been very successfully turning houses into homes, extending them, building new homes, high-end residential. And together we're going to put together a business that works and works very effectively for people. So I've embraced change by doing that. I'm also partnering with him on another venture, and I'm still running my own consultancy business. All of these things a few years ago I would not have been doing. I spent my whole life working for other people. But I got all the tools, all the skills, all the experience, all the ability to be able to do this for myself, and that's what I'm doing now. So, hey, screw it. Let's do it, as Richard Branson would say. So, I want to open a conversation and see how that conversation actually goes. Because at the end of the day, we all find ourselves at crossroads. We find ourselves in a place where we're not sure what the next step is. We've not done that before. And the older you get, the more difficult that is. I know that from experience, but equally, I think people at whatever age, when they see a new chapter, or they're invariably put in a position where they don't have a choice but to see a new chapter, are nervous, anxious, and sometimes one of my favorite phrases is paralysis of analysis kicks in. You look at it so often, so many times, that the good is gone out of it, and you find all the reasons why you can't do it. So what I'm here to say is just do it. Look at what it is. Does it have a chance of being successful? I mean, the amount of people who've jumped on the bandwagon on these homes in your garden and who are building them now is significant. But the amount of them that are building proper homes, building regulation compliant, still building them in a timely fashion, but building good quality product that will last and will stand the test of time. There's not so many of them yet. I mean, they're coming, but there's not so many of them yet. There are people offering information. There are people offering advertising that are not quite the actual facts that are available. But anyway, that's not what I'm here to talk about. So I want you to think about the next step in your life. What is that next step? So tell me in the comments, what is your decision? What is your next step? Have you got the enthusiasm to go after it? More importantly, have you got the ability to sit down, drown out all the noise, make a note, look at the plan? I'm not looking at a long plan. The first step, the second step, the third step. Just jump in and do it. Make a mistake, fail, see that doesn't work, learn from it and get on to the next thing. The quicker you fail, the faster you succeed. There's a Diary of a CEO, Stephen Bartlett, young guy, half my age, very successful in business, internet business, was one of the first people I heard about putting together a department within his business called the failure department. Well, it might have, I'm paraphrasing, it might have a different name, but the goal basically was to fail as fast as you can, so you know it doesn't work. So then what's left by default is what does work. So don't be afraid to do something. Get in there, do it, have a go at it. Let me know in the comments below what your next step is, what your plan is. I want to have a conversation with the community, talk about people ongoing, and let's get to a place in time where we can chat regularly, where I can help support people with their thoughts, their ideas, their ambitions, their goals, either practically or emotional support by chatting about it here. So let's, as Richard Branson would say, let's screw it, let's do it. Let's get on the bandwagon. Tell me what your decision is. Tell me what the next phase is in your life, your chapter. What is it going to be? Let me get involved with you, help you and support you to achieve it. Anyway, with that note, I think I probably waffled on enough. Let's get this conversation going. So let's have a chat with Joe.